Okay, I'm gonna play some scripts. I'm gonna watch some top 5 gaming.
A follower's.
Let's use the result from Ebony to decide who gets the final prize.
Fortnite Season 3 has seen the player count decrease more than ever as people are feeling burnt out and bored of content. But that is changing. They're releasing soon that could fix everything. So here's 20 updates that save Fortnite. The summer update was going to be the community's big break, but low-key flopped because all we got is ice cream and a shotgun. Luckily, the Dragon Ball update released this week, and it could save Season 3. Fortnite Dragon Ball has taken over the internet, and social media has gone wild. Clips are everywhere of Goku and Vegeta dancing, the mainstream media is freaking out. It's incredible, but some people think it's going to go further. With Shenron teased in the original announcement post,
I'll be right back.
people believe this could be hinting towards a live event, but for now, this next update literally brought millions back to the game. This year, so many players came back to the game because of one thing, zero builds. One of the main things that separates Fortnite from other games is the building mechanics, so deleting it for a week was a pretty risky thing to do. But Epic's gamble paid off massively. OG players came back in waves, realizing that zero builds made Fortnite fun again. And since then, it's even become a permanent mode. One of Fortnite's greatest updates of all time was so popular that fans forced Epic Games to bring it back. At the start of Chapter 3, Fortnite released the Spider-Man crossover and included his mythic web shooters. It was so loved by everyone, and people pointed out that Fortnite did web slinging better than the actual Avengers game. So when it got removed, the community was devastated. Well, fans are rejoicing because Epic brought back the Spidey mythic and the grapple glove. Speaking of Chapter 3, watching the island flip is one of the most memorable moments in Fortnite history, and if it wasn't for this event, the game may have taken a turn for the worse. The Chapter 2 map was getting pretty stale after being hit by cubes, aliens, and the dreaded Coral Castle. There was no better time to move on. With the addition of the new island, we also had 3 biomes again. Those who preferred snow, sand, or grass were all taken care of. Not to mention, Season 3 has given us a 4th biome to explore, even if it's taken over half the map. The end event didn't just hand us a new map, it also revealed one of Fortnite's worst-kept secrets. The Foundation was finally unmasked, unveiling its actor to be The Rock. This is the first time that a major Fortnite character was modeled to look like their actor. But this wasn't even Fortnite's most surprising crossover. After years of waiting, Epic Games finally released the first anime collab in 2021. Naruto, quickly becoming the most popular crossover that had ever released. It brought new mythics, 8 anime skins, and introduced millions of Naruto fans to the game. It was also released during one of Fortnite's most controversial seasons, so it's pretty safe to assume that Naruto helped players get through the final weeks of Chapter 2. On the other hand, one of Fortnite's most beloved seasons of all time happened just months before. Thanks to the Invasion update, the game went from hated to admired overnight. This new season brought UFOs, railguns, gravitrons, and a completely new abduction mechanic that let you earn loot. Not to mention Rick and Morty made a surprise appearance, and that was appreciated by a ton of players. But even though this next update was something that scared a lot of people, it ended up being one of the most important seasons that Fortnite has ever made. Epic made Chapter 2 Season 4 entirely Avengers themed, making it the only season in history to be a crossover. People were originally very worried about this, but Season 4 brought millions of players back to the game, and Fortnite bragged about it.
Yeah. Yo. I'm not gonna play, by the way, I'm not gonna play Fortnite anymore. I'm gonna play some, Battlefront. I'm gonna play Battlefront. Plus, okay, sure. I'm gonna mute you because I wanna watch some videos. Well, I'm gonna quickly eat some chips and then, yeah. Alright, I'll talk to, yeah, I'll unmute you when I finished.
The Devourer of Worlds experience broke broke the world record for the most viewed Fortnite event of all time, having 15.3 million players and 3.4 million live viewers. Over 2 years later, this record still stands and might happen again in Chapter 3, Season 4. Something that everyone wants to see return was a creature added in early 2022. Of course, I'm talking about Colombo. Introduced in Chapter 3, he instantly became a fan favorite. It's like the Fortnite community adopted this little guy, and Epic even made him unkillable because of it. But one day, they vanished, and the game hasn't felt the same since. While Colombo may seem like the most loved Fortnite update of all time, there are other updates which single-handedly saved the game in its hour of need. One of these was Travis Scott's Astronomical. In April 2020, the world was going into lockdown. Everyone was suffering from one of the toughest situations that you can imagine, and being locked inside all day just made it worse. Epic Games was one of these companies. Employees were now working from home, and plans like the World Cup
No way.
crossovers were canceled. Seasons were
I just got like a million
player
things.
count was dropping rapidly. Fortnite had to do something
Freaking
fast.
chorus.
Luckily, the stars were already aligned. Epic gave us 2 live events in one season, and the first of these was a virtual concert hosted by Travis Scott. This brought joy to so many people, and they flocked to Fortnite for some kind of normality. Not to mention, the concert itself was insane. It had incredible visuals, music, and blew the last event out of the water. It was so successful that Epic played the concert for a whole weekend and made tens of millions of dollars from merch sales. This update really gave Fortnite a huge boost during 2020. Without it, who knows what would have happened? A year before that, we had the best summer update that has ever released. While 2022 gave us a useless skate park and an empty music stage, the real frustration was how this compared to the previous summer events. In 2019, we got 14 days of summer. Every 24 hours, we get a new LTM, summer-themed outfit, and unvaulted weapon. Look at back, this was crazy. We would never get something like this in modern Fortnite. But that doesn't mean we don't get amazing updates. In 2020, Fortnite did the unthinkable. After years of saying they would never add cars to the game, Epic did a
Little ads.
Dr. Doom is unbeatable. I know. The Joyride update brought sports cars, taxis, trucks, and more to Fortnite. It was such an important thing to add. Cars are easily one of the most popular ways to get around the map, even 2 years later. I wouldn't
What? Keep on.
the game for so long, thousands of players have actually left the game over time. And thankfully, there was one thing that could bring them back, and that was Tilted. So Epic did just that. In the middle of Chapter 3, the POI was restored to its former glory, and everyone came flooding back. But this was nothing compared to one of the most memorable Fortnite updates of all time. I mean, we've had dozens of events by now, but none of them compared to the final showdown. It wasn't the most viewed event, nor was it related to a crossover, but it still somehow became more iconic than any other update in Chapter.
Right back.
Events that happened around this time that truly changed gaming forever, and I can't wait to show you those. But in terms of Fortnite players, a majority of people would rank the final showdown in their top 3 events ever. Even people who never played it know how iconic it is. Although Fortnite wouldn't be successful without huge controversies. Even though the Imposter Mode was the first LTM to take place outside of Battle Royale, it was a complete ripoff of Among Us, and the developers were not happy about it. The best part is they were able to resolve the tension, and Among Us was even added to Fortnite this year. You could argue there was no real reason for Epic to create such a big controversy, but the attention this mode got for copying Among Us brought even more players to the game. People still play it constantly, and Epic updated occasionally with new features. But nobody expected Fortnite to suddenly add first person into the game with Chapter 3, and that was the case when the MK7 assault rifle was introduced. It took everyone by surprise, and this red dot sight would eventually be added to other guns, changing Fortnite's loot pool forever. Rumor has it we are only months away from actual first person 2, and I cannot wait for that. But the question is, who's gonna do it But first, Fortnite players might beat Epic to their own game because of one of the most powerful updates that has ever released, and that is Creative Mode. 50% of Fortnite's playtime is spent in Creative, while the other half is spent in modes made by Epic. I don't think anyone expected it to be that popular, and with Creative 2.0 on the way, it is only gonna get bigger. But where did all this come from? Years of beloved updates, crossovers, and events all spawned from one thing: Avengers Fortnite in 2018. This was the very first collab and one of the only times the MCU has appeared in a video game. It changed Fortnite forever, launching the Metaverse. Thanks to this, it became the biggest game in the world. In 5 years, we went from this to this. And it all started with the Infinity Gauntlet LTM. Not to mention, the Gauntlet was also the first mythic item in the game. But things really took a turn when secret skins were canceled. For years, the Fortnite Battle Pass included one outfit every 10 tiers, and a secret skin that could be unlocked through challenges. When it came to Chapter 2, Fortnite decided to do things differently. From this point onwards, secret skins would now be crossovers, and that started with Deadpool. People were so excited about this one. He came with his own secret room in the lobby, a yacht UI, and even mythic pistols. Epic went all out. Obviously, we can't be talking about things that changed Fortnite forever if we didn't bring up the Marshmallow concert. To this day, people look back on this Pleasant Park event and reminisce about the simpler times, but back then, it was a huge accomplishment. At the time, not only was it the most viewed event Fortnite had ever done, it became the most watched virtual concert in history. But in 2017, when Battle Royale first released, it was simply going to be a side mode for Fortnite's main game. Nobody knew how popular it was going to be. The team working on VR was made up of around 50 people. That's why 5 years later, it's no longer just a Battle Royale. Fortnite has a storyline with cinematics, comic books, interactive events, even Hollywood actors. It's hard to pinpoint a specific update that made all of this possible, but the Device event is definitely up there. Thanks to the Device, the storyline was knocked into overdrive, introducing the Imagined Order, John Jones, and the Loop. Even though the Seven Versailles saga came to an end last season, it was the Device that introduced us to it in the first place. And it's pretty crazy how some of Fortnite's most adored updates didn't actually add anything. In Chapter 1, Epic released a silent hotfix in the middle of the night, and it only did one thing: vaulting the Infinity Blade. This was just the first of many updates that would become iconic for removing OP weapons. When the community were insanely angry over Season X mechs, Epic were forced to cave in, removing the brutes from the game overnight. And the same thing happened with the Stormwings. But now it's time for the biggest update of Fortnite history, something that Epic will never be able to replicate again: the Black Hole. Taking Fortnite, the most popular game in the entire world, and shutting it down for 3 days, gaming had never seen anything like this before. Kids were going insane, thinking that Fortnite had been taken offline. It's all the world could talk about. Nobody knew when the game was going to come back, and social media had gone black. When the servers did turn back on, we were introduced to a new world, Chapter 2. There were rumors of a new map for months, but nobody was prepared for just how important it would turn out to be. The decision to move into Chapter 2 single-handedly added years onto Fortnite's lifespan, and it makes her realize that Epic actually do know what they're doing. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.
At Williamsville, Vegas, new Strike Gold gives you even more chances to win.
John Jones is the most recognizable character in Fortnite, but did you know Epic Games dropped a bombshell about his family, secret past, and the answer to a mystery that is 4 years in the making? This new information reveals a ton about Season 4, and I don't know how the island will survive the live event, but these mysteries all tie together, so watch it to the end for a huge surprise. Fortnite just revealed in its same plot twist that John Jones not only has a family. This is where the mystery gets crazy. His entire family left while the Imagined Order promised to protect them on their dangerous homeworld. They wouldn't be immortal. As they grew old, Jones realized he didn't want to do this anymore. He wanted to die of old age with his grandchildren. Well, Dr. Sloan broke the bad news that if Jones leaves, the IO won't protect the rest of his family. Quitting means his descendants will die. This turning point for Jones made him stay with the Imagined Order, doing the dirty work and trying to move on from his past life. Everyone he loved was gone, and he was just staying to protect family members that he barely even knew. This is is where it all ties together. Jones may have deserted the Imagined Order, but this helped us learn that one of the seven was actually a traitor. After months of rumors, it's been confirmed that the Paradigm did work with the IO in Chapter 1, but the reason completely took me by surprise. Last season, we learned how the Devourer got to the Fortnite Island. The gigantic iceberg was actually part of a planet known as the Ice Moon. You might remember it from last season's live event. This fragment of the moon actually included Polar Peak, a castle belonging to the Ice King, and inside of its dungeon was a monster who broke out of the ice. The Devourer wanted the 0 point, and this is where it gets interesting. To fight the monster, the Imagined Order worked with the Paradigm to build a giant mech and save the island. We've theorized about this for a while, but the Paradigm exposed the truth. The Imagined Order were actually fine with the monster killing every resident on the island. They didn't care, but they were worried that it would attack the 0 point, and that's where the Paradigm stepped in. While Jenna and Sloan wanted to build a doomsday machine to defeat the monster, she offered to pilot a giant robot instead. We all know how the event played out, but after killing the monster, she flew into space, never to be seen again until now. The robot went to that ice moon, which is where it was found during the collision event. But the mystery of how they got here is incredible. The scientists made contact with the Paradigm at the start of the season and began communicating with her from the ground. But he secretly told the Foundation that she was dead and was talking to AI instead. The Seven were extremely angry at the Paradigm for working with the IO, and if they knew she was alive, they wouldn't bother saving her. So, if you're wondering why Doctor Strange appears out of nowhere at the start of the war, it's because the Seven enlisted the help of Marvel characters in order to defeat the Imagined Order. Thanks to Thor and Storm, they were able to change the weather on the Ice Moon and help the Seven rescue the robot. And of course, when they got there, the Paradigm is alive and waiting for them. This all builds up to the final battle against the Imagined Order. After centuries of conflict, Dr. Sloan finally meets her match, and the entire operation is taken down. But there's one piece of the puzzle left. Geno, Fortnite's secret villain that has been pulling the strings since day one. And this week, I found everything there is to know about Geno, and what we learned will blow your mind. This is what helped us figure out what to expect in Season 4, so it is incredibly important you pay attention here. For those who are unfamiliar with Geno, he's the founder and leader of the Imagined Order. He created it along with 5 other mysterious leaders, and each of them have their own symbol in the IO's logo. This one is worn by Dr. Sloan and her IO guards, making her one of the 6. You might be wondering why we haven't seen any of the characters, but we have managed to find 2 more. One of these symbols belongs to an unnamed man that was spotted in Chapter 2. Originally, the community thought this is Geno, but since his official reveal during the collision event, we have been left stumped. However, in the latest comic issue, the Imagine reveals that Geno has an inner circle, aka the 6 leaders. The mysterious man from the photo must be one of them. And while Season 6 Fire was incredibly confusing, it contained this symbol, which is one of the runes in the IO's logo. The guardians of these towers are led by the Spire Assassin and Spire Immortal. Are they part of the inner circle too, or do they answer to someone even more sinister? For months we have assumed that the Imagine and the Order are the daughters of Geno. It was a pretty obvious guess based on their names, but Epic has finally confirmed it. The sisters revealed that they were genetically improved by Geno before being born. He gave them immortality, super strength, and designed his daughters to be practically perfect. Geno let them use reality as their playground, letting them do whatever they wanted. But one day, things changed in an instant. One of the members of Geno's inner circle offered him a bet. They wanted to see if the sisters could be the first people to ever escape the loop, and even gambled how long it would take. After being sent in, the sisters actually escaped, but it took way longer than Geno had hoped, and this is the part that explains everything. In the modern day, we know that escaping the loop will leave behind a snapshot of yourself, and this is why Agent Jones has so many Joneses running around. But with the sisters being some of the first people ever to escape, they were met with a huge shock returning home. The loop created snapshots of them, but they were better. These clones were used to fighting in the loop and became stronger because of it, so Geno replaced his daughters with the new and improved versions. So they left and joined the 7, taking on the names the Imagine and the Order. They chose these names to take back control of their identities. While the sisters might be twins, they have very different motives. The Order wants to help people in the loop get back their freedom, but the Imagine just wants to get revenge on her father. She admitted all of this while talking to Wolverine, and then it kind of ends with this, so I guess we'll move on from here. You might be wondering what the point of all this is. What does the Imagined Order actually want? Time and time again, they've allowed the 0 point to destabilize, attempted to destroy the island with doomsday devices, and even sat back and let a cube army take over the island. But why? Well, it's been confirmed that Geno originally created the Imagined Order to find the perfect civilization, which is the end goal of the entire storyline. He has spent centuries kidnapping people from the realities and forcing them to fight in this loop. The point of this is to recruit the greatest warriors and leaders to the Imagined Order, giving them immortality and allowing them to live on the island. Let's take, for example, Midas. We've all grown tired of this man by now. He is probably Fortnite's biggest mystery, but guys, I solved it. After reading the latest issue, Midas's entire story has been unraveled, including his connection to Oro. Put a lot of work into this, so subscribe if you're enjoying it. Here's how Midas became Fortnite's most underrated character and how he might make an appearance in Season 4. We've all heard the legend of King Midas, but Fortnite did it differently. Our version of Midas is an international crime boss who came to the island in Season 2 and flipped the storyline on its head. But did you know that his grand plan was years in the making? Before this, Midas had found himself in the Imagine Orders Academy. In this early photo of Dr. Sloan, you could spot him in the audience, and this was the beginning of his scheme. Midas sends his daughter Jules into the Imagine Order, where she becomes a master engineer, working her way up to the IO's Doomsday Division. This is where she begins creating machines that can destroy entire realities. But the whole time, Jules is secretly using this information to plan out the device, a machine that will destroy the loop for good. Meanwhile, Midas sets up the agency. Dozens of loopers become secret agents, reporting everything back to Midas. Eventually, the device is complete, but we all know how that played out. In retaliation, the Imagine Order trapped Jules in the loop, replacing her with a... Come on, get the treasure! I love you. No, it was so cool. Obedient snapshot. Jules, Meowscles, and Marigold have spent the past few years attempting to escape the loop and hiding Midas's location. While the IO may think he's dead, the gang are preparing a plan. We have yet to find out what that is, but any day now it'll unfold. As for his connections to Oro, it's actually really simple. For years we've been trying to explain how Oro and Midas are the same person, or ways that they could be related. But Fortnite has also explained the curse of the Golden Touch to us over and over again. We just weren't listening. King Oro, along with Aurelia, are from a reality where they're cursed with the Golden Touch. Somehow, Midas found Oro's skeleton and was given this curse. His eye was cut like everyone else with the Golden Touch, and that is the connection between the two. Midas was simply a crime boss who got too greedy and went after Oro's treasure, only to be cursed for it. Now, guess what? Gold isn't the only elemental power important to Fortnite. An Easter egg from over 4 years ago explains the future of the storyline and gives us an understanding of what to expect from Season 4 and even the season.
I'm gonna need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let's warm up. Let's play some co-ops. Let's play some Actor Republic, or let's do Resistance actually. No, let's do First Order. Okay? Yeah? Alright. We're gonna make my video.